Life has a way of carving its lessons deep into our spirits, often through moments of hardship and pain. It's a curious thing how struggles that feel like an end can, in truth, be a beginning. We often ask, why this? Why now? But there's a profound power in realizing that what feels like breaking is, in fact, reshaping. This pain, this challenge, is not without purpose. There's a divine hand in it, a wisdom that knows exactly what it's doing. The storms we endure are not meant to destroy us, but to prepare us for a greatness we cannot yet see. This is the moment to look beyond the surface of your suffering and understand that God is using this pain to prepare you. What if I told you that the very pain you're experiencing is not an accident, not a punishment, but a plan? Imagine this: you're standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes against your skin, and every part of you wants to run for cover. But what if this storm isn't meant to harm you? What if it's shaping you, molding you, preparing you for something your current self couldn't handle? Would you still run? You see, there's a secret in suffering, a mystery in the pain. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare or clarity. No, it comes quietly, weaving itself into your days and nights, forcing you to confront your limits and question your strength. Pain demands your attention. And as much as we despise it, pain has a purpose. It breaks what was never meant to remain and builds what is destined to last. Think about the process of refining gold. It's plunged into fire, the heat so intense that it strips away every impurity. The gold doesn't cry out, stop, it simply yields. It trusts the hands of the refiner. Can you trust that your pain is doing the same? That it's burning away what no longer serves you, revealing a strength, a beauty, a brilliance that was hidden beneath the surface? Oh, but the process isn't gentle. It doesn't whisper sweet promises of ease. Pain tests your patience, your faith, your resolve. It whispers lies: you're not strong enough. You can't endure this, but let me tell you something: God doesn't waste pain. He doesn't allow it to touch your life without a purpose greater than you can imagine. There were times in my life when I thought, this is it. This is the moment that breaks me for good. But in the breaking, I found a blessing. It didn't come all at once. It crept in slowly, like dawn after a long, dark night. I realized that the breaking wasn't the end. It was the beginning of becoming. God is preparing you for something, and preparation isn't always comfortable. Imagine an artist chiseling away at a block of marble. The marble might say, why this? Why me? Why must I endure these cuts and blows? But the artist sees what the marble cannot, the masterpiece hidden within. Every strike of the chisel has a purpose. Every shard that falls away brings the vision closer to reality. And so it is with you. Your tears are not wasted. Your cries in the night are not ignored. God hears them, sees them, and holds them close. But he also knows that growth requires struggle. A seed buried in the soil doesn't blossom without first breaking open. A butterfly doesn't emerge without a fight to leave its cocoon. That struggle is where strength is born. There's a voice in you, a voice that rises above the pain, above the doubt. It's a voice of resilience, a voice that says, I am more than this moment. You may feel like you're drowning, like the weight is too much, but let me remind you, you're still here. You're still breathing. That's no accident. That's grace. Do you remember the story of Joseph? Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, his pain seemed endless. But through it all, God was preparing him for a position he couldn't have imagined, a purpose that would save many lives. What if Joseph had given up in the pit? What if he had cursed his pain instead of trusting the process? Your pain is not permanent. It's a passage, a pathway. And while it may feel like darkness, know this: the darkest nights often produce the brightest stars. The weight you're carrying isn't meant to crush you. It's meant to strengthen you. It's like lifting heavy weights. At first, it feels unbearable. But over time, your muscles grow, your endurance builds, and you become capable of carrying more than you ever thought possible. So hold on. When you feel like giving up, when the pain feels too great, remember this: God is using this pain to prepare you. Prepare you for the dream that feels out of reach, for the purpose that seems too grand, for the blessings you've yet to comprehend. Your pain is not wasted. Your struggle is not meaningless. You are being shaped, molded, refined, and when you come through this, because you will not be the same. You will be stronger, wiser, more compassionate. You will look back and see that every tear, every heartache, every moment of doubt was part of the masterpiece. And you will know deep in your soul that it was worth it. Pain is a language we all speak, though few of us ever fully understand it. It whispers to us in the dark and roars in moments of despair. But it is not random. Every ounce of suffering carries a meaning, a weight, a purpose that only time and trust can reveal. You may wonder why you were chosen to walk this path, why the burden feels so heavy, so unrelenting. You may cry out in frustration, in anger, in exhaustion, asking why the world seems to crumble around you. But perhaps the better question isn't, why me, but what is being built in me through this? Pain doesn't come to people who have nothing to give. It doesn't waste its presence on the idle or the empty. No, pain comes to those who are carrying something of value, something the world needs but hasn't yet seen. If the seed refused to crack open, the tree would never grow. If the sculptor's chisel refused to strike, the marble would never transform. If you deny the pain, you deny the power it holds to change you into someone you've never imagined. The process is not neat or pretty. It's messy, chaotic, and often feels unbearably long. Have you ever seen a caterpillar struggle to become a butterfly? The cocoon looks peaceful from the outside, but inside, the caterpillar is literally being broken down and reformed. If you didn't know better, you'd think it was dying. But what looks like destruction is really transformation. And when the butterfly emerges, it carries the evidence of its struggle in the strength of its wings. What are your wings being prepared for? What heights are you meant to soar to that you cannot yet see? This pain isn't random, it's a part of your preparation. When God uses pain, it's not to harm you, it's to position you. He is aligning you with a purpose so great that your current self cannot yet bear it. So he strengthens you piece by piece, moment by moment, even when it feels like you're falling apart. Sometimes it's in the breaking that we find the truth. The false identities we cling to, the things we believe define us, are stripped away in the fire of pain. You thought you couldn't live without that job, that relationship, that dream that didn't come true. And when it was taken, you thought you'd lost yourself. But maybe, just maybe, you weren't losing yourself at all. Maybe you were shedding the parts of you that were never meant to stay. The weight of pain often feels unbearable, like you're carrying the world on your shoulders. But think about how diamonds are formed. They start as mere carbon buried deep within the earth. The pressure, the heat, it's relentless. But it's only through that process that a diamond becomes what it was always meant to be. The brilliance was always inside, but it needed the fire to bring it out. And so it is with you. The brilliance, the strength, the resilience is already within you. The pain is just revealing it. It's uncovering what you didn't know was there, what you didn't believe you had. And when the world sees the diamond, when they marvel at its beauty, they won't understand the pressure it endured to become what it is. But you will. You'll know every crack, every scar, every moment of doubt that led you here. There's a sacredness to this process, a divine rhythm that can't be rushed. Think about a potter shaping clay. The potter's hands are firm but gentle, pressing and molding, shaping and smoothing. The clay doesn't resist, it yields, trusting the vision of the one who holds it. But then comes the fire. The kiln burns hot, and the clay hardens. It's only after the fire that the pot becomes useful, that it can hold what it was created to carry. What are you being shaped to carry? What purpose is being forged in the heat of your pain? It's hard to see when you're in the middle of it. It's hard to trust when the fire feels like it's consuming you. But the potter knows what he's doing. The fire isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to make you unbreakable. And then there's the pruning. Have you ever watched a gardener prune a plant? It seems harsh, cutting away branches that look healthy, that seem to be growing just fine. But the gardener knows what the plant cannot, that those branches are preventing the plant from reaching its full potential. The pruning is painful, but it's necessary. Without it, the plant would remain small, stunted, unable to bear the fruit it was designed to produce. Your life is being pruned. The things you thought you needed, the parts of you that felt essential, are being cut away. It hurts, yes, but it's making room for growth, for abundance, for a life that is fuller and richer than you can imagine. The pain of pruning is temporary, but the fruit it produces will last. Pain teaches us what comfort cannot. It reveals the depth of our strength, the reach of our faith, the power of our perseverance. It strips away the superficial and brings us face to face with who we really are. It forces us to confront our fears, our doubts, our limitations, and in doing so, it shows us that we are so much more than we believed. Do not despise the pain. Do not rush to escape it. Sit with it. Learn from it. Allow it to do its work. Because one day you will look back on this season and you will see it for what it was: a turning point, a refining fire, a preparation for something greater than you ever dreamed. When you emerge from this, you will be different. You will be stronger, yes, but also softer, more compassionate, more understanding of others who walk their own paths of pain. You will carry a wisdom that can only come from experience, a light that shines not in spite of the darkness, but because of it. You will be a testament to the truth that pain is not the end, it is the beginning. The world is full of people who have allowed their pain to define them, to limit them, to break them. But you are not one of them. You are being prepared for something extraordinary, something that will make every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt worth it. Trust the process. Trust the pain. Trust the one who is using it to shape you into exactly who you were meant to be. Pain is a paradox, isn't it? It feels like an enemy, but it works like a friend. It knocks the breath out of you, yet it breathes new life into places you didn't know had grown stagnant. When you're in it, everything feels magnified. The clock slows, every second heavy with the weight of your struggle. You wonder if it will ever end, if this is all there is. But pain doesn't come to stay, it comes to pass. What lingers, what remains long after the storm has moved on, is what it built within you. The scaffolding of resilience, the foundation of a strength you didn't know was possible. You might be asking yourself, why must it be this way? Couldn't I learn the lesson, gain the wisdom without the heartache? That's a fair question, one I've asked myself in my darkest moments. But the truth is, wisdom born of ease often fades quickly. It doesn't root itself deeply because it wasn't hard won. The lessons learned through pain, though, they cling to you, they anchor you, they transform you. They shape not just your understanding, but your very being. You walk differently after pain, stand differently, speak differently, because you've been touched by something profound, something sacred. Think about the ocean. The waves are relentless, crashing against the shore, carving cliffs, shaping rocks, creating something new with every strike. The rocks don't resist, they endure. And over time, they become something they never could have been without the waves. Smooth, refined, resilient. This is the rhythm of life, isn't it? The constant shaping, the endless refining. Pain is the wave and you are the rock. It may feel like it's wearing you down, but it's really building you up. And what of those moments when the pain feels senseless, when it doesn't seem to lead to growth or transformation? Those are the hardest to endure. But even then, there is a purpose, even if it's hidden from view. Sometimes the purpose isn't about what you're gaining, but about what you're letting go of. Pain has a way of stripping us down to our essence, of removing the layers we've accumulated, the fears, the doubts, the insecurities. It forces us to confront what truly matters and to release what doesn't. There's something deeply humbling about pain. It reminds us that we are not in control, that we are part of something greater than ourselves. It breaks down our pride, our illusions of self-sufficiency, and brings us to a place of surrender. And in that surrender, we find a strength we didn't know we had. We find a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, a joy that isn't tied to outcomes. Pain also connects us. It bridges the gap between souls, creating a shared understanding that transcends words. When you've walked through the fire, you can look into the eyes of someone else who's in the midst of it and say, I see you, I understand. And in that moment, something beautiful happens. Pain becomes not just a burden, but a gift, a way to reach out and offer hope, to remind someone else that they are not alone. This is why your pain matters. Not just for what it's doing in you, but for what it will do through you. The lessons you're learning now, the strength you're gaining, the compassion you're cultivating, they're not just for you. They're for the people you will meet, the lives you will touch, the hearts you will heal. Your pain is preparing you to be a vessel of light in a world that desperately needs it. Think of the greatest stories you've ever heard, the ones that moved you to tears or inspired you to action. They all have one thing in common: struggle. The hero faces insurmountable odds, endures unimaginable pain, and yet rises above it. It's the struggle that makes the victory meaningful. the pain that gives the joy its depth. Without the darkness, the light wouldn't shine as brightly. Your story is no different. You are the hero of your own journey. And this chapter, as difficult as it is not the end. It's a turning point, a moment that will define not just who you are, but who you're becoming. Every great story has a moment like this. A moment when the hero must decide whether to give up or to press on. And let me tell you, the fact that you're still here, still fighting, still hoping, means you've already chosen to press on. But pressing on doesn't mean pretending the pain isn't real. It doesn't mean forcing a smile or hiding your tears. It means acknowledging the pain, sitting with it, allowing it to teach you what it came to teach. It means being honest about where you are and trusting that where you are is not where you will stay. Pain has a way of feeling permanent, but it's not. It's a visitor, not a resident. And when it leaves, it always leaves something behind, a gift, a lesson, a piece of wisdom that you wouldn't trade for anything. There's a phrase one I've always found powerful: it's not what happens to you that defines you, but how you respond to it. Pain doesn't have the final word. How you choose to frame it, how you choose to use it, will determine whether it becomes a weight that drags you down or a ladder that lifts you higher. It's not easy, I know, but it's possible, and it's worth it. Imagine a garden. The soil must be tilled, the ground broken, before anything can grow. It's a violent process, the tearing apart of what was to make room for what will be. But without it, the seeds would never take root. The flowers would never bloom. The fruit would never come. Your life is that garden, and this pain is the tilling of the soil. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because what's coming, the growth, the beauty, the abundance, will be worth every moment of struggle. And then there's the rain. It feels cold, unrelenting, and endless, but it's nourishing the seeds that have been planted. Without the rain, there would be no growth. Without the pain, there would be no preparation. The very thing that feels like it's drowning you is the thing that's making you stronger, deeper, more alive. You may not see it now. You may not understand why this is happening or where it's leading. But one day you will. One day you will look back on this season and see it for what it was: a gift. Not a gift you would have chosen, but a gift nonetheless. You will see how it shaped you, how it prepared you, how it positioned you for the life you were meant to live. For now, hold on. Trust the process. Trust the pain. Trust the one who is using it to create something beautiful, something extraordinary, something that only you can bring into the world. And remember, even in the darkest moments, you are never alone. Pain has a way of silencing everything else around you. It makes the world feel smaller, the days longer, and the nights unbearable. It whispers in your ear that this is all there is, that nothing will ever change, that the weight you're carrying will never be lifted. But pain is a liar. It knows only the moment you're in, not the future that is waiting for you. It doesn't see the strength being built in your silence, the growth happening in the stillness. Pain doesn't know what's on the other side of this battle, but you will. You will wake up one day and realize that the moments you thought were breaking you were actually teaching you how to stand taller. You'll notice the things that once frightened you now feel small, insignificant even. The mountains you thought you'd never climb will be far behind you, and you'll wonder how you ever doubted yourself. But the truth is, those doubts were part of the process. They were part of what made you human, part of what pushed you to dig deeper, to reach further, to become more. When you're in the thick of it, it's easy to feel like everything is falling apart. But what if it's not falling apart? What if it's falling into place? What if the pieces that no longer fit, the ones that have been holding you back, are being stripped away to make room for something new? What if the destruction you see isn't destruction at all, but a clearing, a preparation for a foundation that will hold something greater than you ever imagined? Pain is like a mirror, reflecting back parts of yourself you might not want to see. It shows you your fears, your insecurities, the places where you feel most vulnerable. But it also shows you your courage, your resilience, your capacity to endure. It reveals truths you didn't know you were capable of facing and forces you to confront the person you truly are. And in that confrontation, there's an opportunity, a chance to grow, to heal, to become. Sometimes pain isolates you, makes you feel like you're the only one in the world carrying such a heavy burden. But let me remind you that pain is universal. It's the thread that connects us all, the common language of humanity. You are not alone in this. The very people you pass by each day are carrying their own struggles, their own silent battles. And when you realize that, when you let yourself see that shared experience, something beautiful happens. Pain becomes less of a wall and more of a bridge. It creates empathy, understanding, connection. Pain has a way of stripping us down to our core. It takes away the distractions, the noise, the things we thought we needed, and leaves us face to face with what truly matters. It's in those moments, those raw, unfiltered moments, that we discover what we're made of. We learn what we value, what we're willing to fight for, what we're willing to let go of. And in that discovery, we find freedom, not freedom from pain, but freedom within it. The truth is, pain doesn't ask for permission to enter your life. It comes uninvited, often at the most inconvenient times, and it rarely offers an explanation. But while you may not have a choice in whether pain shows up, you do have a choice in how you respond to it. You can let it define you, let it steal your joy and your hope. Or you can let it refine you, let it shape you into someone stronger, wiser, more compassionate. The choice is yours, even when it doesn't feel like it. There's something powerful about embracing the pain, about looking it in the eye and saying, "You will not break me." It doesn't mean you're not scared or that it doesn't hurt. It means you're choosing to believe that this pain has a purpose, that it's not the end of your story, but a part of it. And when you make that choice, something shifts. The pain doesn't disappear, but it loses its power to control you. Life is not about avoiding pain. It's about finding meaning in it. It's about discovering the beauty that can arise from the ashes, the strength that comes from the struggle, the joy that comes from overcoming. It's about realizing that every step, even the painful ones, is leading you somewhere. You may not see the destination yet, but you're on the path. And every tear, every heartbreak, every moment of doubt is a part of that journey. When you look back on this time, you won't just remember the pain. You'll remember what it taught you, how it changed you, what it gave you. You'll remember the strength you found, the courage you didn't know you had, the light that broke through the darkness. And you'll see, perhaps for the first time, that the pain wasn't the enemy. It was the teacher, the guide, the catalyst that brought you to a place you never thought you'd reach. Pain is an unpredictable visitor. It arrives unannounced, often when you feel least prepared, yet it settles in like it belongs, testing every corner of your spirit. It pushes you to the edge of your endurance and whispers doubts into your heart. It makes you question everything: your purpose, your worth, your ability to keep going. And yet, for all its cruelty, pain is not an oppressor, it is a revealer. It strips away illusions and leaves behind only what is real, what is necessary, what is true. In those moments when you feel like giving up, when every breath feels heavy and every step feels impossible, remember this: there is something in you that pain cannot touch. There is a fire in your soul, a resilience woven into the fabric of your being, that no amount of suffering can extinguish. It may feel faint, like a flicker barely holding on against the storm, but it is there, steady and enduring. Pain doesn't create that fire, it reveals it. It shows you what has always been inside you, waiting for its moment to shine. The hardest part about pain is its silence. It doesn't explain itself, doesn't offer answers or reasons. It simply is a constant presence that forces you to find meaning where none seems to exist. But this is where the transformation happens. In searching for meaning, you uncover truths about yourself that you never would have found otherwise. You discover the depth of your strength, the breadth of your courage, the power of your faith. And those discoveries, born in the darkness, become the light that guides you forward. Pain forces you to slow down, to stop running from the parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. It brings you face to face with your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. But in doing so, it also brings you closer to your authentic self. It strips away the masks, the pretenses, the stories you tell yourself about who you are, and leaves you with the raw, unfiltered truth. And that truth, as uncomfortable as it may be, is the foundation for growth. Growth is never easy. It requires discomfort, sacrifice, and yes, pain. Think of a tree. It doesn't grow without stretching its roots deep into the soil, without reaching its branches higher and higher toward the sun. That process isn't painless. The roots encounter resistance, the branches face storms, but the tree continues to grow because that is its purpose. And so it is with you. You were made to grow, to reach, to evolve. And pain is part of that process. It is not the enemy of growth, it is the catalyst for it. There are moments in life when everything you thought you knew is turned upside down, when the plans you carefully made fall apart, and you're left standing in the rubble of what was. Those moments are devastating, yes, but they are also opportunities. They force you to rebuild, not as you were, but as you are becoming. They remind you that life is not about clinging to what is familiar, but about embracing what is possible. Possibility is a powerful thing, but it often hides behind pain. It waits for you to push through the hurt, to dig beneath the surface, to uncover the gifts that pain has left behind. And those gifts, though wrapped in struggle, are worth the fight. They are the wisdom that comes from experience, the compassion that grows from understanding, the resilience that is born of survival. They are the parts of you that pain cannot destroy, the parts that make you who you are. Pain also has a way of teaching us about gratitude. It's ironic, isn't it? That in losing something, we learn to appreciate what we still have. That in facing hardship, we learn to see the beauty in small moments of joy. Pain sharpens our focus, strips away the trivial, and leaves us with a deeper appreciation for what truly matters. It teaches us that life is fragile, fleeting, and precious, and that even in the midst of suffering, there is something to be thankful for. But gratitude doesn't come easily when you're in the depths of pain. It's something you have to choose, something you have to cultivate. It's a decision to look beyond the hurt and see the lessons, the growth, the possibilities. It's a choice to believe that this pain is not meaningless, that it is part of a greater story, a story that is still being written. And what a story it will be. A story of perseverance, of transformation, of triumph. A story that will inspire others, that will remind them of their own strength, their own ability to overcome. Because your pain, as personal as it feels, is not just about you. It's about the people you will touch, the lives you will change, the hope you will offer to those who are walking their own paths of struggle. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who have left a lasting impact on your life. Chances are their stories are not free of pain. In fact, it's often their pain that makes their stories so powerful, so inspiring. Their ability to rise above, to find meaning in the struggle, to use their pain as a force for good, that is what sets them apart. And that same power exists in you. You may not feel it now. You may feel broken, weary, defeated. But those feelings, as overwhelming as they are, do not define you. They are temporary, fleeting, just as the pain is. What defines you is your response to the pain, your decision to keep moving forward, to keep believing in the possibility of something better. What defines you is your willingness to trust that this pain, as difficult as it is shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. There's a story being written in your life, a story that is bigger than this moment, bigger than this pain. And while you may not understand the plot right now, you can trust the author. You can trust the author. You can trust that every twist, every turn, every struggle has a purpose. You can trust that this chapter, as painful as it is not the end, but a beginning. You are not just surviving this pain, you are being refined by it. You are being prepared for something greater, something that will make every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt worth it. And one day you will look back on this season and see it for what it was, a turning point, a moment of transformation, a gift. You will see that the pain wasn't just something you endured, it was something you overcame, something you used to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate. And when that day comes, you will stand tall, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. You will carry the scars not as reminders of what you've lost, but as symbols of what you've gained. You will look at the person you've become and know that every step, every struggle, every moment was worth it. You will know that the pain wasn't the end of your story, but the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with hope, purpose, and endless possibility. Pain is a sculptor, chiseling away at the parts of us that no longer serve, refining us with every strike. The process feels harsh, relentless, unfair even. Yet with each chip, a masterpiece emerges, one that was hidden beneath layers of fear, doubt, and complacency. It's not a process we would choose for ourselves, but it's one that we can grow to appreciate when we see the work being done within us. What feels like destruction is often creation in disguise, a rebuilding, a reshaping, a becoming. There's a peculiar way pain sharpens our vision. In the moments when the world feels darkest, we begin to notice the faintest glimmers of light. Things we once overlooked, the sound of laughter, the warmth of the sun, the steady presence of someone who cares, become treasures. Pain doesn't just hurt, it awakens. It teaches us to see the beauty in the mundane, to find joy in the smallest things, to hold gratitude for the blessings we still have. This awakening doesn't come easily, but when it does, it changes everything. The world will try to tell you to run from pain, to numb it, to bury it deep. But running only prolongs the journey. Pain doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It waits patiently until you're ready to face it. And when you do, when you allow yourself to sit with it, to feel it, to learn from it, something extraordinary happens. The pain loses its power to control you. It becomes not a chain, but a key, unlocking parts of yourself you never knew existed. There's a strength in you that pain cannot touch. It's the part of you that keeps going when everything in you wants to stop. It's the part of you that believes, even in the face of despair, that this is not the end. That strength doesn't come from the absence of pain, it comes from walking through it, from surviving what you thought would break you. It's forged in the fire, tempered by the storm, and it's yours to carry forward. Pain also has a way of calling us to humility. It reminds us of our limitations, of our humanity, of our need for others. It strips away the illusion that we can do it all on our own, and opens the door to connection, to vulnerability, to community. When you let yourself be seen in your pain, when you allow others to walk alongside you, you discover a profound truth. You are not alone. There is strength in community, in shared burdens, in the simple act of saying, I need help. And as much as pain isolates, it also unites. It is the great equalizer, crossing boundaries of culture, class, and creed. When you've walked through pain, you carry with you a deeper understanding of others who are hurting. You become a source of comfort, a beacon of hope, a reminder that healing is possible. Your pain becomes a bridge, connecting you to others in ways you never imagined. The lessons pain teaches are rarely immediate. Often they come in whispers, long after the storm has passed. You may find yourself years from now, in a moment of reflection, realizing how much that season of pain shaped you, how it prepared you for challenges you didn't yet know were coming. It doesn't mean you'll be grateful for the pain itself, but you will be grateful for what it gave you: the wisdom, the strength, the perspective. In the thick of it, pain feels permanent. It convinces you that this moment will last forever, that the weight will never lift, that the dawn will never come. But dawn always comes. The seasons always change. Pain, as overwhelming as it feels, is temporary. And when it passes, it leaves behind a gift, not just a memory of survival, but a legacy of growth. You are not who you were before this pain entered your life. And that's the point. Growth is never static. It is dynamic, ever-changing, ever-evolving. Pain forces you to evolve, to adapt, to rise. It pushes you beyond what you thought were your limits and shows you that those limits were only illusions. You are capable of more than you ever imagined. And pain is the catalyst that reveals that truth. The beauty of pain is that it transforms not just you, but the way you see the world. It softens you, makes you more compassionate, more empathetic, more present. It teaches you to value what truly matters, to let go of what doesn't, to live with intention and purpose. These lessons don't come easily, but they are worth the struggle. They are the gifts pain leaves behind, the treasures hidden in the wreckage. And so, in the moments when the weight feels unbearable, when the road feels endless, when the questions outnumber the answers, hold on to this truth: this pain is not in vain. It is shaping you, preparing you, refining you. It is creating within you a strength, a wisdom, a light that will shine not just for you, but for others. You are becoming, even now, even here. In the end, pain is not the defining chapter of your story, but the bridge to something greater. It is the struggle that molds your strength, the fire that refines your character, and the darkness that makes your light undeniable. The journey through pain is not easy, but it is purposeful. It prepares you for the heights you are meant to reach, the battles you are destined to win, and the person you are becoming. Trust the process, hold on to hope, and know that every tear, every trial, every ache is working to shape you into something extraordinary. You are not just surviving this pain, you are rising because of it. And the best is yet to come.